My name is Matt Streb, and I'm Chief Strategy Officer at NIU, and I'm also a professor of political science. So academic freedom is a pretty complex topic with a lot of nuance. It is often misunderstood. But in a nutshell, the purpose of the university is to generate and disseminate knowledge, and it's to discuss and debate controversial ideas. And so faculty members have to have the ability to conduct their research, to teach their classes without outside interference from, say, a government or from even a university administration or maybe a donor. So, for example, let's say that the state of Illinois was to pass a law that, had an impact on voting rights and kind of what our voting rules were, voting laws were in the state. A faculty member would have the ability to sit there and do research and say, I think that that law is going to actually negatively influence turnout. And he or she would have that ability to do that. And the state, in theory, couldn't come in and say, you can't conduct that research. Or maybe the university has taken a position that says that affirmative action is something, and college admissions is something that the university strongly supports. A philosophy professor would have the ability to write an essay arguing against the benefits of affirmative action. There's also examples in classrooms, right? And so, we might have a sociology class that is talking about the Black Lives Matter movement in kind of a social movements class. And there's a donor that is really, really upset that the university is allowing that to take place. Again, academic freedom would give that professor the opportunity to teach that topic the way he or she saw fit. If we go back with that premise that the purpose of a university is to generate and disseminate knowledge, you have to be able to have the freedom to research and discuss sometimes very controversial topics and issues. If you look at history, there's all sorts of examples of times where people were absolutely certain that something was a certain way, and then through research or whatever the case might be that has happened on college campuses, we now have a different view of kind of what the outcome of what the original thought was anyway. And so, academic freedom is something that is a central tenet that almost all universities strongly believe in. Here at NIU, we have our commitment to academic freedom spelled out in our Board of Trustees regulations, and our University Council, our University Constitution, and our Faculty Senate bylaws. There are some limitations. So, a lot of times I mentioned that faculty have control over the topics that they teach in their class, and that's generally true. But a chemistry professor, for instance, couldn't teach a lecture on how a bill became a law. But that might be kind of an absurd example, but there are some things too through the shared governance process and the curricular process that our faculty as a collective might say, you must do X in your class. And so maybe they say that you have to assign a certain textbook that the department has agreed should be the textbook that all introductory students get. Or maybe in a history class they say you have to teach the Civil War in an introductory to American history class. Now, even there, a faculty member is likely going to have some discretion over how they teach the Civil War. But there are some things that faculty members, because of the curricular process, are going to have to do. Faculty members can make their own points of view clear in a classroom, but they can't hold a student's point of view against a student. And so, if I was to ask you to write a paper on, say, universal health care, and I supported universal health care and you didn't, I couldn't grade you simply based on the fact that I disagreed with your position on that issue. So there are some definite limits to academic freedom that do exist. I think the biggest thing is that academic freedom is, as I said, incredibly complex. It's nuanced. The courts haven't always been clear in terms of their kind of how much of a right academic freedom is. And so what I'd encourage all of our students to do is go to the NIU website, type in academic freedom in the search bar, and we have a great website there that talks about what academic freedom is, how we're committed to it at NIU, and it gives you a whole bunch of information that should be very educational for you.